Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for another episode of Dadbod to Daddy. Today's leg day, and we started with squats, and yeah, definitely going to take squats seriously again. I'm just going to mess with a lot of singles and pause squats and just use other volume work then to build my quads back up. So what I decided to do, just go back to my normal squat stance, the type of stance I use in competition. The exact same squat style I used for that 496 Master State record a year ago, over a year ago now, isn't it? So again, you're going to use that same technique. I'm happy with it. I'm just going to do it beltless, though. Everything's going to be raw. And I just built up to some singles. I did a couple with 365, then 375, then did a 385. The 385 actually felt reasonably heavy. I didn't feel like I could go tremendously heavier than that today. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to build these up. And one of the things I know I need to do is the pause squats. Because you guys remember when this last summer I started really focusing on the beltless squats again, I got up and I did like a 450 for a 2-second pause at the bottom with no belt. So let's get back up to that. And one of the tools I used to do that was, using some singles and then doing the long pauses at the bottom. All right, that is what builds my mobility and my ability to get deep and to explode out of the bottom. So we're going to build that back up. I think it'll happen quick because, again, I hadn't been squatting serious. I've been changing styles around while I've been cutting and everything. So let's just get back into it. I feel like now that I'm eating carbs again, this will get easier. I feel like that was definitely a factor. That affected my squats plummet really quick if I'm not careful with diet. Even my benching stayed strong and everything, but the squatting, didn't do well. So let's, again, work off some old muscle memory, a little more carbs in the diet. I'm not necessarily eating more calories. I just replace a lot of the healthy fats with more carbohydrate. Keeping protein extremely high because I'm going to keep cutting. So what I did after I did the 385 single, and it wasn't a max, but it did feel heavy enough that it moved slower. I want to get used to that. I went ahead and did a long pause. I counted just like in 1,000 in my head. That was like 12, and then did a 10 and 10. So I just did a 275 held down there at the bottom. Yes, and I know beltless, it's not the most flattering position when I still have a little fat and loose skin around the waistline, but who cares, right? It's all going to come off. We're dieting down. Everything's been coming down successfully. So for me, that's always going to be the least flattering position. Just is what it is. So these I did 315 and held it for about 10 seconds or so. Again, it's hard to count when you're down there. I try to count it as slow as possible, and then we come up. So for me, I feel like those give a girl stimulus whenever I do those. People would say, why? Oh, because I'm doing other dynamic work too. But if you think about it, we're holding that lengthened position under a load to fatigue. Keeping in mind, there's a lot of growth in that lengthened position. So then so much fatigue is created that when you come up, the rep feels slow and heavy. Like those reps look like the last rep or two on a set before failure, right? So watch when I do it and then watch when I drive up. Again, that weight is slow, it's awkward, it's heavy, right? So again, high quality reps that you're getting out of that. So in my experience, I feel like my quads grew last time I did those. So I wanted to do those, and then I realized, yeah, this belt squat does work. I've just got to get it situated right. It was helping last time when I was doing that stuff, so I'm like, let's just do 3 heavy sets. The only way it works, though, I've got to take a wide stance. I can't do the narrow. It's just that belt really is a problem with my quad size. Okay, so I'm doing a nice wide stance, but this will, again, give me the volume I need for the squatting in terms of rep work, because it's working those same muscles. Also, but without the extra load on the back. So again, a tool that I've used a lot, like most of my elite squatters live on leg presses and back squats. But we don't do a lot of rep work. None of my really strong lifters, and I'm talking anyone squatting 550 plus, completely raw, no reps. Because out of my squatters, I've had, I would say all my elite guys, anything 550, and I've had up to a 680. It's what I do. So again, even though we're bodybuilding everything else, I feel like I want to approach my squats a little bit like I did when powerlifting, because it works. And even when powerlifting in the UK, I had big old thick quads, so it's not a problem. So I think that's the way I want to approach that. It's more enjoyable for me. I just don't like doing a bunch of rep work on squats. Like it's just, it's mentally and physically draining. But I don't mind the singles. I don't mind the long pauses. I don't mind really low reps. And then I can do volume on other stuff. And so I ended up doing these for, 5 to 6. And they actually felt pretty good. I think particularly once my quads were loosened up from all that long stretch work, it felt like these didn't really put a pull or a strain on them that I sometimes get at the bottom, especially with that wide stance. So then I could just focus on, it's still working the bottom because I'm kind of pausing there and getting as deep as my knees will kind of let me there. So hip positions are going to be different because of the knee slide on that, but it should be pretty comparable, but it's also a little bit more mid-range for me. Whereas on a lot of the squatting I did today really was about powering out of that bottom position. All right, it's really what I wanted to do. So then I supersetted those with calf raises. Right, I want to do calf raises every one of these days, and I went ahead and went heavy. I did sets of 20 the last time or so. I went ahead and put 315 on the bar so I could get it under 20 reps, and I got 12, maybe a little bit extra on one of the sets or so, but I got at least 12 on those. So again, taking my calves right about to failure. A couple of those sets, again, people can't tell I just come down and it won't come back up. So it reached failure. It's just hard to identify on camera because it just looks like I stop. But it's that it just sticks at the bottom. When you fail and stick at the bottom of a lift like that, you can't always tell visibly that that's what happened unless you're watching closely. But yeah, they were to failure. And I managed to, I think, the last set, I squeezed an extra rep out. Just tried to grind through because I'm like, it's the last set to make it count. That mosquito bite on my left calf. It's a problem with mosquitoes here right now. They're eating me up when I'm in here training sometimes. Not so bad lately, but it feels like I get a mosquito bite every time. And I knew one got me on the calf. I felt it, and then I could see it there on the camera, there on that left calf, that right there, that dot you're seeing. It's a mosquito bite. What do you do? Houston for you. So again, these felt good, and if someone pointed out laughing that my calves might actually be my best body part, not my lats, maybe. I don't train my calves that much. It's also that all the leg work I do tends to work calves. I feel my calves on everything. So then the Sissy Squats, I'm like, let's just do one burnout set. Let's just get these as high, and I got the most reps I've ever got on one of these, which is good considering I did all that other leg work. But my quads didn't feel destroyed today. That's kind of the interesting thing. And I think, again, having more carbs in my diet helps. Did a fair amount of heavy work, a lot of stretch work. I'll know tomorrow how that's going to go. I'll see if I get any DOMs or not. But then again, because all that volume itself is relatively low, even though those pauses are a lot of time under tension, it's still, in terms of rep count, this was a fairly low volume. So I'm like, well, let's really, really dig in and try to get a burn on this, so that, again, maybe we hit that other growth pathway. And I feel like for the Sissy Squats, they're better as a finisher. It hasn't been going that great lately doing them immediately after a very low volume of squatting. They're a great exercise and they feel great, but it's too difficult to get enough load. So as a finisher, though, they're nice because I like how they feel. And then I did 2 sets of hanging leg raises to finish off. And you guys know why we do these. We discuss it every vlog. We do it for probably my favorite ab exercise, but it's also free grip training. It's great for my shoulder health. Notice I was able to do those normal, what I call low bar for me. I did those comfortably today. I've also overhead pressed this week. Okay. My shoulders feel fine. So I think all of this is helping the way that I thought it would, and I hope that continues. So again, no discomfort at all on the squats in my shoulders. So pretty happy with today's workout. We're going to keep pushing the squats up more and more. We're going to prioritize them a little bit more, get decent at squats again, and keep moving forward and keep continuing this cut and refining my physique. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.